Hello, my name is Palatino, and this is Trials of Mana. Immediate nostalgia with the sound. I have to say, this is a remake of a Super Nintendo game, and I think, in my opinion, this is the best remake I have played until now. Not even the RE remakes are as good of a remake as this one. Alright, let's go into it. One of my favorite things, it immediately starts the same as the first one. You have four difficulties at the beginning. Beginner, of course, easy, normal, and hard is easy to say. Then there's a harder one for New Game Plus, and a No Mercy one that always sets you to level 1. But you can level up again. It's brutal. Then we go into the character selection. You have 3 characters you have to select, and only the main one changes the story. So we have Duran, he's a sword fighter. He is a pretty sturdy character and a good first pick, I would say. Then we have Angela, the magician. She is not a very good close combat fighter, of course, more of a magician. She learns magic without any changes. Then we have Kevin, a brawler. He has a specialty. He can transform into a werewolf at nighttime, and that's pretty awesome. He is pretty strong overall, also a good character for beginner. Then we have Charlotte, the healer and light magic user. She can also summon some other things later, which are just one hits, but it's a summon magic. Then we have Hawkeye, the thief. He's pretty fast and also does a lot of damage, but he's not very sturdy, so keep that in mind. He's also a very cool character. I love him a lot. And then we have Reese. She's the most balanced character in my opinion. She learns some summoning magic. She has some other magic stuff. She has support magic. And I think she has a few healing spells too. But all that later. We're gonna take some random character because we're gonna go into save after that. You always play through your main character prologue, and only the main character changes. The mid boss of the game and the end boss of the game, of the story. And it also changes the story a little bit. You usually find your second character first and then your third character. With Charlotte, it's a little bit different because she has a fixed point where she can join. If you are like me, my first playthrough, I picked Duran, Reese, and Hawkeye. And with Reese, I picked her third. She comes a little bit later to the group than the other two, so you have your first boss fight with only 2 characters then. If at any point you pick Charlotte as a companion, you have at your first boss fight 3 characters, which is awesome. Which makes it a lot easier, but the first boss fight is not very hard. Also, there are 2 characters always connected with the story part, so like Hawkeye and Reese are connected, Duran and Angela are connected, and Kevin and Charlotte are connected. So, we have the first thing we see right away, it's the golden statue. You can always save the golden statue and get your health back, and at the silver ones you don't get your health back. I changed the settings to the remake music from the original to remake music and back because I wanted to show you can do that anytime. It's like in the original movement-based combat a little bit. The Mana series has normally an action-based combat system, but more like you can't just punch. It's more like you have to wait a little bit and attack, and wait and attack. But they changed it around to a completely action-based combat system, which is kind of awesome. I really like that. It's, I think, what they intended for the original, but couldn't do because of the hardware. I tried it later with Legend of the Mana. I don't want to compare a lot, but I feel like they did it like they wanted to do it in the first one. And they also got a really good new system in with this one. If you fight to get enemies fast, beat the enemies fast, get no damage in the fight, or do a class strike, or a finishing move, you get extra experience in percentage, so that helps a lot. But let's go into the menus. We have our items and our usually bad tutorial stuff. That's really annoying. You can see your ring menu here. Ring menu is the only usable, as it's usable in combat. You can't go into this inventory in the combat. And you have your different items, classes, and the item seat. I get into the item seat later. There are magic items, projectile weapons that usually do normal damage and sometimes inflict some stuff. Then we have our gear, the usual four, like spear, headband or head protection, armor, and the ring. And we have our abilities that you can change around and unlock through your character overall. Then we can have locked abilities that are changing with class. I'm going over that a little bit later. Your class tracks, you can change them around, and you have your costumes. Then we have the training, which is actually an important part. There are 5 different things you can skill, and you can get different things through them, like your abilities, your upgrades for stats, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Also, moves. You get moves. Sorry, that's not all. You get moves. Then you have the strategy, which is pretty important because you can give your other characters, your companions, different targets, different tactics. There's a little tooltip what it means precisely. Like you can get them more to attack, more to defend, more to which enemy they should prioritize. And what's really interesting is the moves, the class strike, and the healings, because you can give them actually. You can deplete their mana with every fight completely. They can always use class strike as soon as they're ready, and they can use healing items as soon as you fall below a certain spec, and they can use all your items if you let them, which can get pretty useful or useless depending on what you do. Then you have adventure logs with tips and what's happened so far, but if you play the game, you usually should forget. The item seats have a really useful thing, like they heal all your characters, and you have and you can get items through that. I'll show you later. As always, I'll show things later. The item menu is also pretty fast in combat, and you can change it between your characters in the item menu always, because you have a small animation to use items, which can get pretty bad if you use them in the wrong time. So we'll continue through the story a little bit. It sticks pretty true to the story, so there's not a lot of change. And what I really love, all the story parts are synchronized, so they really get synchron the voice actors. A lot of work. The animation's a little bit overreacting sometimes, but it's true to the era where the original came out. But yeah, you have your those sentences she says, they were usually in the original text boxes, but you can have that in action, which is awesome. I love that. This is just improvements to the original and staying true to the original. And all the story parts, as far as I remember, are the same as in the original. So, just a win-win. The tooltips are also pretty awesome. The map is, of course, handy because you didn't have a map in the original. And the waypoints and the quest markers are also pretty handy. I wouldn't need those, but it's not nice to have them because sometimes you just need to ask random people for stuff. But hey, quality of life improvements.
No one believes me, but I saw it. A strange
There are also different shops. They redivided the shops because I think armor and weapons could be the same shop in my opinion, but it's in the original, so why not in the remake? Because, well, the buildings are there because they are all the same in the original and in the remake, of course. You can really see in the details that the remake people liked the game as they liked the original. The Mana series is pretty much a loved series overall. They kind of fell off and it spawned from Final Fantasy. The first Mana game literally was called Final Fantasy Adventures. And you can see the similarities in the original and in the later games, not as much.
Welcome.
And they always play in the same kind of setting. The time and the world changes around a little bit, but it overall keeps the same pace with some enemies come back, some bosses.
What?
The whole Mana Sword thing comes back a lot.
It seemed quite powerful.
The mechanics change around a little bit, like this one, the Mana Sword is a wish fulfilling thing, which it actually then doesn't do. But it's always kind of this ultimate weapon to change the world, which it does in most games. And sometimes the story is even connected, like first Secret of Mana and Trials of Mana are connected a little bit. Like Adventures of Mana, Final Fantasy Adventures ends with the main character putting the sword in front of the mana tree, and in Secret of Mana, it's not in front of the mana tree anymore. But in the end, the main character puts it back in front of the mana tree. And this is where you find it here. It's usually the same. So that's why I don't think there's a coherent time here, like which character, which game comes after which is a little bit strange. I should probably talk about the urns while we're here. There are item urns, there are healing urns, there are mana urns, and there are class strike point urns. Pretty self-explanatory, I think, but I should just mention it. The yellow thing around here are items, lucre. Yeah, pretty much that. Items or lucre. The money. And there are chests around the map which don't respawn. But they are usually not bad items and pretty useful. And always the same. It doesn't matter which playthrough you have. And there is another addition to this game, which they did in earlier games already, but they kinda came up in this era of the games, which is Little Cactus. That guy is usually in every map around somewhere. You have to find him, and if you find enough, you get certain boni, like a really special ring that gives you more experience, or you get discounts at shops, cool stuff. Yeah, as I mentioned, there is a day and night cycle, and there are different weekdays, I would say. They actually change how much damage some certain spells do, but it's not that different for me to change around a lot. I wouldn't like sleep in an inn to get a special day for a special boss. That's usually not what you do. You can see I got my secondary character here, and I changed around in the menu. It goes pretty fast. You can change character anytime you want. Here we see the fairy. She's not usually annoying. She can get annoying if you are that kind of person. But you can see a little bit of the story here. It is the same as in the original, as I said. The barrier, all of that.
I am surprised to see someone come so far
It's just
alone.
fun to replay it, and it gives some more context, like the characters are a little bit more fleshed out, the story is a little bit more fleshed out. There is after... wouldn't say after credit stuff, more like after end game stuff. Like in the original were 2 class changes, and there are 3 now. But it's more like you go into 2 different directions and have 2 different outcomes in the end. You can go. You also seen Duran was sleep powdered there. You can wait it out or change characters, which is also pretty fast. They just put a lot of thought in the combat system, and I think that's really awesome for a remake. It's not... I didn't know it would come out, but it feels like a passion project more than aim money grab. to put it in my words. Trials of Mana, the original, was one of my favorite games in my childhood and into my probably teens, because I played it pretty late, I would say. And without being that guy that loves the game because it's just the original again, it really puts a lot of fun into the game again. And it actually has replay value through the different stories, through the different characters that all play different. Although the story isn't that different per playthrough, the main characters that you choose talk differently to each other, talk differently to the important persons, I would say, which makes it fun. Just play it again.
I certainly hope she will be all right traveling alone.
And who knows? Maybe you're in the same opinion or the same boat as me. Some negatives are that there are not a lot of different enemy types. They really use a lot of assets, and that kind of sucks. But it's also was always the same in the Mana games. They are not your typical AAA game. They are more like a spin-off of Final Fantasy. They're not as fleshed out, but still very, very, very good games. They are not as adult as Final Fantasy. They are more probably for teens. I would more go like place.
I am a little nervous to meet His Eminence.
They have some more grown-up themes. They are not childish usually with their themes. Like there's a strong emphasis on war in this game. Like pretty much all except for Charlotte are in war. Like the Beastmen are in war with Wendell, like we are here. They take over a city at the start of the game that all the main characters are in. You can usually see all the main characters before they actually start the journey. And Navarre, where Hawkeye is from, and Valsina, where Reese is from, they are at war for some reason. Like the king of Navarre is tricked into fighting those the Valkyries. And the same with Duran and Angela's kingdoms. Because Duran is not as important, but Angela is the princess. They also are in war with each other, and through their friendship that they build up in the game, in the end, everything works out. And as you see, big point for me is every weapon changes around the weapon you wear in the game, actually, which is awesome. Healing items are usually sweets. Mana items are usually protein-based things, I would say, like walnuts. There are a lot of different things that are not usual. And here we're gonna go into an endgame load for me, because I want to show the class changing a little bit, or the classes a little bit, or the system, however you want to call it. The class change, you have to go to certain points. You can actually either go to a mana stone at the beginning, or if you can go into the special place, I will call it here. You can go to this particular statue here and change your class. I'll show off the costumes real fast. Like, those are not the original, of course. Those are advanced tiers and advanced classes. Like, I have all of them at class 4. And here I'll go. This is the special statue. The silver one or the gray ones they don't look the same as this one. This one looks special. And as you can see, you have 3 classes here. First you have 2, you can change 2. Then you have, again, 2 per side. And then you have 1 that it goes to. That is the last you can go. Every class change gives you a lot of, like, stat changes to go into different direction, but they usually are a big bonus overall. You don't change a lot in handling of the character. Some, like Angela, can go into more of a damagery build, like close combat build, or other characters can go into more of a healer, strengthening stuff, or a magician build, which is pretty awesome. And here I'm getting Flamey, that he's one of the 2 main helpers to go around the world. You can go by ship at the start, but it's usually expensive, so you'll try not to use that as much. You get a turtle, you can go through water, and you have Flamey, you can go through the air. And of course you can reach, with Flamey you can reach anything, and with the other one you can just reach certain points. Alright, I think I went through everything that I wanted to go through. I hope I give you clarity on what to expect of this game. And I really hope you try it and enjoy it, because it's a really awesome game. For the price, it's also affordable, because it was $50, I think, at when it came out and it went down in price, but it's, on my opinion, it's totally worth the $50. And for the overall thing, the tier list, I would go into S-Class, because you can just jump in. The save points are usually not wide spaced out. You have an autosave. Unfortunately, there is no multiplayer like in the original. But hey, it's a pretty good game. It's a pretty awesome time. Right. Have fun. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye.